Hey guys, in theory I should be live, just waiting to confirm it on YouTube. Helps if I'm signed in under the correct account, which I'm not. So let's do that. Yes, and I am signed in. So hopefully you can hear me. And sorry if my title offends any of your sensibilities. However, it is what it is. So, first of all, good to see you guys. I know I haven't done a plain old regular live stream in quite a while, and this is not going to be a particularly long one, but I just want to kind of get my 2 cents about the stupidity going on out there. And I'm not adding fuel to the fire. I'm not saying anything that you guys don't already know about my personal opinions on some of this stuff, but just that we've got to learn, not when I say we, I mean all of us, we've got to learn to stop just jumping on the hate train anytime someone says something we disagree with. As Doomcock obviously did over this weekend. Now he and Gary have apparently made nice again. Quite frankly, I do not care. But for a few days, it looked like Doomcock was hating on Nerdrotic because Nerdrotic had the nerve to not leap to Doomcock's defense when another Fandom Menace member was calling Doomcock out for basically being nothing more than a clickbait show with his video after video after video claiming things like Kathleen Kennedy is about to be fired from Lucasfilm, which clearly, if Kathleen Kennedy was about to be fired from Lucasfilm 3 years ago when Doomcock started these videos, it would have happened by now. So Doomcock got all Batwoman crazy over this and saying, oh, how dare Gary not defend him. And then Gary apparently and Doomcock talk behind the scenes. Now they're all friends again. Well, this, and the reason I want to, the reason that I want to say what I'm saying here is that the problem is not Doomcock's obvious clickbaiting. Look, that's been obvious forever. If you love Doomcock, great. If you believe him, if you believe that Kathleen Kennedy has been on her way out for the last 2.5 years, great. Not my concern here. It's that he was so quick to just start the Twitter campaign against Gary, that he was so quick to just launch the hate train on him, to get hit and without even talking to him first. That's what we've reduced ourselves to on the online community. And I'm pointing the finger at myself and everybody else in this room and everywhere else on you, because this is what we do. This is what, and this is what we've got to learn to stop. Doomcock is just a larger example of it. But what we tend to do is someone says something we don't like. Doesn't matter if it was against us personally or if it was, just something we disagree with or whatever. And then we try to launch a campaign of hate against these people for, and whether we're talking about the people that love Star Trek Discovery, whether we're talking about people that love the sequel trilogy, whether we're talking about people that work in the industry that help produce these things, we turn it into insta-hate every single time. And I'm tired of it. And what Doomcock did over this weekend is just a stellar example of it. Because he was all ready to hate Gary and start a feud with Gary until all of a sudden now they're buddies again. For whatever reason. And Julesy was first in the house, says hi. Commodore Ty says hello. Resolute says hi. Sam says afternoon from Arizona. Good to see you, Sam. Blaine is here, says hey, how you doing? Resolute says you're late. Anti-Trek, the drama's all over. No, well, here's the thing. It's not about the drama itself. That's my point, is that, yeah, I know that they made up. Like, I saw Doomcock's tweets that he put out today that he and Gary are all buddy again. I don't care. The problem isn't that Doomcock and Gary are or are not getting along. The problem is that we were all ready to draw the battle lines over this for and which over what one person said. If Doomcock had an issue with what is his name, like Arcade Productions or oh gosh, I was Arcade Outpost, and Harry throws $5 in. Thank you so much, Harry. I truly appreciate it, my friend. $5 more to the doctors to hopefully keep me alive for just a little bit longer. But yeah, I mean, so what RK Outpost was basically, and by the way, this isn't anything new for him. He's been saying this for months on his live streams that, basically all these people talking about Kathleen Kennedy on her way out and crap like that, so it's got to stop. It's just not even rumor mill at this point. It's just making stuff up that ain't true. It's wishful thinking. That's all it is. And it's just pointless at this point for people. I don't care if you're in the Phantom Menace or not, for people to just make this kind of... And this is the problem. YouTube is turning itself into just a parody of... In fact, in a very real sense, it's becoming a parody of the news networks, the CNNs and Fox News. It's basically ideologically driven news, and so we just write a story that fits our ideological perspective, and bam, we run with it and say, oh, it's just a rumor, so don't take me too seriously on this, but it's absolutely true that this is happening, that kind of thing. So yeah, it's just, this stuff's got to end. Kate is in the house, says, hey, hope you're doing well. I'm hanging in there, my friend, as best as I can, given the health situation, but right now, just kind of blowing off some steam after all this crap. Dreams out there just got here. Well, how we do? It's not that important. Dreams out there. Just Doomcock got mad at Gary over Gary not saying something. I'm not making that up. And then I guess Doomcock and Gary are friends again. That's the entirety of the drama. But you would swear that the internet had exploded over the weekend because of it. And so whatever. Aberjam says, to be honest, Andrew, I thought you'd be above all this and not give it the time of day. Well, Aberjam, the reason I want to talk about it is simply the fact that it's not about the details of Doomcock and Gary. Again, I couldn't care less about either one of those guys. I mean, they've said some really nasty things about me, and guess what? I haven't reciprocated. I haven't been out there doing a Twitter war against them, and I've just written them off. I don't give a crap about them. However, I bear no ill will towards either of them. The point is how quick are we to jump to hate when someone says something we don't like? And that's what we've got to learn to rein in, because this kind of drama between Gary and Doomcock, it could happen between anybody. Because we're all very quick to do this. If say, Bird of Prey says something on his live stream that I don't particularly like, and then I start talking about him on my live streams, and then he gets pissed off at that, and next thing you know, he and I are like genuinely hating on each other instead of just kidding around about Kuroga and Turdistan. And that it can ruin friendships, it can ruin relationships, and it can divide the community. And the Phantom Menace is a community much larger than our little corner of the internet here. And, the last thing we need is for them to go starting to eat each other alive. We already had the drama with Mecca and whoever. I don't remember the details on that one. The YouTube, because I don't follow any of the Phantom Menace channels anymore. The drama thing on YouTube really just needs to... it's stupid. Anyway, Robert says, hello tonight, Anti-Checker, a.k.a. Michael J. Crawford. Good to see you, Robert. Reza says, I think you're blowing this way out of proportion. Oh, I don't know. I read the tweets. I mean, Doomcock... Look, if Doomcock is going to go out there and literally just tweet what a bad person Gary is for not having defended him, and then, well, I waited 24 hours and didn't say anything just to give Gary a chance to clear the air and defend me. Who does he think he is? Look, Doomcock is not royalty, all right? He's just a guy with a papier-mâché mask who has a good gimmick on YouTube. That's all he is. And so, whatever. And so, and it's not that I think that the thing is important. It's not. The problem is that, so, and I've seen it, because for whatever reason, when Doomcock and Gary got mad at me, all of a sudden I started getting flooded with all sorts of hate coming in, especially on Twitter mostly. And that's why I don't even go on Twitter very much anymore, unless I need to for something. And it's, the internet is just becoming this wasteland of hate. Twitter is just, it's a little more extreme, but the internet in general is just this wasteland of hatred. And we're so quick to rush to judgment that things like this get all blown up. People make a big old stink about it, and then, whatever. And the fact that they made nice about it is irrelevant. All right, it says more to me about the character of Doomcock, the fact that he went after him online before they decided to be buddy again. That speaks more about the whole situation to me. Because I'm sorry, but let's say I made a joke about Bird of Prey that he thought was in poor taste, and instead of talking to me about it, offline or something, he started launching a Twitter campaign against me before we talked about it. Oh, it'll be over. So that's the problem. I don't know what Doomcock and Gary said to each other, but, they're both big channels. They're both considered leaders in the Phantom Menace or whatever. And I guess they figured that, who would get the kids in the divorce. So they decided to just, stay together for the sake of the kids. Anyway, Trustin's going to take a nap. Have a good one. Max says, wishing you the best. Thank you, Max. I appreciate that. Dreams out there says, Antrigger didn't explode for me live. I've unfollowed the Phantom Menace. Hit Francis fatigue with them. I tell you, I feel you, man. Multi-Gunman says, how's it going? And confirmed Anti-Jerker wishes ill will on Gary and Doom. No, I'm glad they're successful. I promoted them when they were small channels, and I don't regret that. I don't like the way that they treated me after the fact, but that's water under the bridge. I'm not going to hold that against them. But I don't like the fact that we're trying to weaponize the internet, and that's exactly what Doomcock did over this weekend. And I've been the recipient of that kind of thing before, and it's not pleasant. So, yeah, it is what it is. Only stopped by to say hi, and the Phantom Menace is a joke, should be ignored. More so, Doomcock. Well, back to Sci-Fi Nation stream. Y'all have a good one. Hey, Valor, have a good one. I'm sorry, I didn't tell Sci-Fi. I didn't know he was streaming. I'm not trying to step on anybody's toes. I just wanted to, get this off my chest, because these things, like I said, if we can't rein ourselves in, if we can't stop hating on each other just for hate's sake, how are we any better than the people we're attacking? How are we any better than Kathleen Kennedy or Ryan Johnson or any typical SJW or whatever, or Doomcock or Nerdrotic or any of these people? If we're so quick to throw the hate train at somebody just because we disagree with them, we've got a bigger problem. And that's my problem here, is that, man, what are we and it's not just the nerd community, it's just people in general are just, and I understand it's been a rough couple of years for a lot of folks, but dang. NB Geeks, let's talk, says, and you know what, NB, I will not get you confused with LDG. I'm looking at your name here. It says, after all, I said, take a breath and let them figure it. Yeah. John DeMarco says, Twitter, you never find a more wretched hive of scum and villainy. Agreed. Aberjan says, haven't touched Twitter in 2 years, don't miss it. Yeah, I'm very rarely there. Cinnabon says, hi, how you doing? James says, I haven't seen anything they've said because I got tired of the Gina Carano rumors. Well, the Gina Carano thing, that was just, I talked about that a little bit, and the fact that, and I almost did, I actually got together some of the clips. I was putting it together. I was going to do a video, kind of an expose on the Phantom Menace, and I decided not to, where I put together clips of various prominent people in the Phantom Menace and how they were saying how the Mandalorian was all woke when Gina Carano's character was first introduced, and then intercut that with them acting like Gina Carano was the second frickin' coming as soon as she got in hot water with Disney over her tweets. It's all just ideologically driven. That's the problem. It's not about rational thought. It's not about seeking the truth. It's not about caring about our franchises. It's just about pushing an ideology, and in a large, in way too many cases, for the sake of getting a few clicks, for get some ad revenue, or getting, and it's just, it's wrong. Anyway. It's not a bad thing to call out bad behavior. It's a matter of how you do it. Andy does it right, opposed to how for him to find and blah, blah, blah. And, that kind of thing is stupid. I mean, that's as bad as anything that Doomcock or the rest of them have done in themselves. They're just planting fake news, hoping to get Doomcock to spread said fake news, and then gleefully reporting it as if it's news that Doomcock spread fake news that they planted in the first place. I mean, whatever. NB says, I left my pages as they become I've left many pages as they become the SJWs we refer. Oh, absolutely. And that's the problem, is that if you build yourself on, and this is where, honestly, I kind of feel bad for Doomcock, in that I genuinely, it's a rock and a hard place kind of situation. If you build up a channel based solely on hate, and Doomcock's persona is the personification of it, stay angry is his motto, when that's what you do, then bam, they, what do you do when you run out of things to hate? And how can you react to anything with anything other than hate? Supreme Court has issued an arrest warrant for Kathleen Kennedy. It's 180% fact. Oh, Thomas, I love you, buddy. The only Phantom Menace I care is Star Warped the Phantom Menace. Darth says yes for clicks, and sadly, that's true. Moxley says, how's it going? Did you find anything about your health issues? Only bits and pieces. I talked about this a little bit on the virtual pub last night. I know at this point that I'm not diabetic, and I don't apparently have a brain tumor. That's about all I know at this point. Now, the final results from the spinal tap, unfortunately, there's like 4 or 5 different tests they run off the spinal cord fluid. And the big one, which is the cell count test, that's the one that really tests for MS. The results for that have not yet come in. So at this point, I don't know what's going on there, except that the tests, the glucose tests and stuff, that's all normal. And so I don't, I'm not diabetic apparently, and the pressure in the spinal cord was about where it should be. So I don't have high or low pressure, which can be indicative of certain types of infections and, in fact, brain tumors. So thankfully, nothing like that. Did Joshua enjoy his day at the ball? He absolutely did, and he got me something while we were there, a candle, very nice little candle. He got that for me when we were looking around. But yeah, he had a great time. And so, Joshua, one thing Joshua absolutely loves is going to the mall. And thank you for asking, Thomas. Mr. Cat says, one day they want new material. That when the franchise does new stuff, new is bad. Franchise repeats old stuff, old is bad. Yeah, well, that's the Phantom Menace in a nutshell, unfortunately. That's kind of what it's... And that's where the Phantom Menace, they can't say anything good about anything right now. And when they do, they don't get very many. And this is the truth about it, is that I've seen Gary and Doomcock and others do positive videos. But when they do positive videos, they don't get very many views. And so they drop it like a rock and they go back to the hate stuff. And so I get it, because that's a smart business thing. But at the same time, it kind of shows where your head's at. Just being honest. Jaegerbomb says, bummer to see fans turn on each other. The only people who win are the SJW jerks who ruin everything. Now I see why you left the Phantom Menace. You were right. Well, the thing is that even like that, the SJW's jerks, okay, because SJWs don't ruin everything, but I think that, obviously putting the SJW agenda into a franchise that didn't have it before was definitely a bad choice. Because I don't even buy that all the people that were... I think that genuinely the people at CBS and the people at Lucasfilm thought it was the smart thing to do. But yeah. Paladin says lack of brain tumor is very good. That is a good thing. I'm certainly not complaining. John says it's not a tumor. So yes, that will be my new catchphrase now. No diabetes, no brain tumor. And Super Blurpo says, hello, hope all's well. I'm hanging in there, my friend. Hope you're doing all right. Josh says, aren't everyone a kid? Let's see. Aren't everyone's a kid to you being older than the universe? When is that going to get old? And Tom says, did you buy something at Tilly's? I did not. I just took the picture. And it's just kind of funny. I don't even know what they... Excuse me. I don't even know what they sell, to be honest with you. I sent Thomas a picture when we were at the mall today because there's a store in the mall called Tilly's. Speaking of health, Bird, I know you've been talking to other people here, but I hope you're doing okay. I heard Thomas filled me in on what you were saying about your health. And man, thoughts and prayers, buddy. I know that what you're going through ain't no joke. So I hope you get better real soon because, yeah. I tell you, between the two of us, Bird, and although Thomas had pointed out, if we both, have to retire as presidents of Kuroga and Turkestan, well, at least Turkestan won't have an infant running it. Paladin says, I really don't have an issue with the Phantom Menace. Doomcock always prefaces weathering by saying nothing but it's rumor. Well, but here's the problem. That only goes so far. And this is my problem with it, Paladin, is... when Doomcock constantly says, it's just a rumor, it's just a rumor, it's just a rumor, and then what happens is whatever he says is just a rumor, which, by the way, 99% of the time is absolutely false information, like the Kathleen Kennedy stuff that he's been saying for 2.5 years. But people take it so seriously, and he knows people take it seriously. He knows that everything he says people think is gospel truth. He knows that there are literally tens of thousands of people that if he said, well, this is just a rumor, but apparently Kathleen Kennedy likes to rape birds, then people would say, hey, everybody, did you hear that Kathleen Kennedy is a bird raper? And it would just be everywhere. And they would take it as being absolutely true, even though he puts the rumor thing. There comes a point where you have to take responsibility for what you say, and throwing a little disclaimer saying that this is just rumor ain't enough when you have the clout that Doomcock has with his fans. Doomcock's fans are rabidly loyal to him, and that's awesome for him, is that he can post a video and get 100,000 views like nothing, and that's awesome for him. But it's also very dangerous when he says things that aren't true, even by prefacing it with it's just a rumor, and then everybody's running around and sometimes crucifying people who disagree with it. Mr. Cat says that Turkestan can't be worried. I was expecting to see Laura walk down the road in heels and a skirt like in the Super Chat. I wish there was a way I could make that happen so like every once in a while he just walks by. That would be hilarious. Professor Brainy Spec says I must be invisible. If you said something, Professor, I didn't catch it. I'm sorry, but be sure to put the... Oh, and I see you said greetings, and I missed it. I am so sorry, Professor. I'm trying to do my best to read the chat, but it's me. Average says, jokes about your age will never get old. It'll take him 1,000 years just to catch up to you. Jerk. Max says, Star Wars is now Fart Wars. Star Trek is now Fart Trek. The Phantom Menace is overrated. Wow. That's not what I said, and I don't even know what to say. Thanks. And NB throws $5 in. Thank you, NB. You guys are nice. It says, if you got pissed about Ryan's comment, in my opinion, no better than the SJWs that are fighting. If you got pissed about Ryan's comment, in my opinion, you're no better than the SJWs that we are fighting. If I get pissed about Ryan's comment, I must have missed something, NB. I must have missed something because I'm not sure. Multi-Gun Man says, confirmed. Anti-Checker thinks Kathleen Kennedy rapes birds. Of course. Yes. Wait. Kathleen Kennedy says, that's foul. Gee, I'll see myself out. Please do, Ryan. Oh, what did Ryan say that I missed earlier? That was horrible, though, Ryan. Man, I don't see it. Oh, YouTube drama brought to you by Dollar Shave Club. Use drama rules for 10% off. Drew's out there says, I've been Doomcock live chats. He has hundreds of fervent followers, male and female, who show up, and a lot of people say, "Hail, my lord." He must a real ego stroke. Well, and that's the problem. I mean, yeah, I mean, I know that because I knew Doomcock when he was a tiny little channel, and the first few times we talked, there was nobody listening, and you know, I get that it was just a persona, it's just a joke, and that's all it ever was to him. But then we, you know, as his channel ballooned and everything, and people start to take it seriously, you know, it's kind of creepy. And I don't know that he takes it seriously because, you know, the problem is that, you know, he's very good at keeping himself, you know, behind the curtain, so to speak. But man, his persona is, yeah, it's interesting. Carl says, I rumor Q is going to make Picard back into a human, stronger, faster, and better. Oh, and also a woman. The source is my brain, but shh, it's a secret. I'll try to remember that is only a rumor. Dread Pirate says, just got here. What specifically the Phantom Menace do recently? It's not. Here's the thing, Dread Pirate. I'm not trying to spread more rumor stuff. This is just about the fact that we're too quick to. What happened was there was a misunderstanding, basically, between two prominent members of the Phantom Menace, and by Ryan's referring to the guy that insulted Duke. Well, yeah, but you know what? He was just speaking about Ryan didn't say anything. I mean, he said it a little more crassly, but he didn't say anything that I haven't been saying for months. You know, so whatever. But anyway, there was a misunderstanding between two YouTubers because a third YouTuber made some disparaging comments about another YouTuber. The other YouTuber involved didn't defend the first YouTuber, and so hatred ensued for a couple of days, and now apparently they're buddies again. That's the long and short of it. Mike Richards is here from Columbus, Ohio. Good to see you, Mike. Alex says, what is your favorite Doctor-centric episode of Voyager and why? That's a really off-the-wall question, Alex, but man, that's a tough one. I'm going to probably... Oh, man. I'm going to probably say, is it Blink of an Eye? I think that's the name of it. The one where the planet that is displaced in time, and the Doctor is the only person that could survive beaming down to the planet. And so, but he's there for like an entire lifetime, and he, you know, meets people and all that. I thought that was pretty cool. I did like the Prometheus episode as well, Bird, but I still think that one I think had some, it wasn't truly Doctor-centric, but the Doctor had some really good scenes in it. Multiple sources confirm the Hitchhiker is having a love child with Bird of Prey. Multiple sources cannot be wrong. Ryan did say that Doomcock's followers are and the R word. Yeah, and I thought that was, like I said, it was crass. I thought that was uncalled for. But the funny thing is, and this is what I thought was kind of hilarious about it, is that the ire of Doomcock seemed more concerned over Gary's not defending him than Ryan's actual statements. And Ryan's his channel is big. It's like, 65,000 subs. Doomcock is basically the National Enquirer of the Phantom Menace, so when his shtick gets called out by Ryan, he felt embarrassed and went on a Twitter rant. Well, Tinker, Tenor, Doctor, Spy, that's a good one. But, yeah. Anyway, I think that that just attacking people like that, and especially in your attack, say, well, I've tried to reach out to him and he didn't respond. Therefore, I'm going to take it to the public. What? No, you give them time. It's been a couple of freaking days. Whatever. And Powell says, R word, racist? No, the R word, you can say racist still. The R word is the formerly crass term for a mentally disabled person. Daniel says, hello, Trigger, what's up? What do you think about the pic that came from the set of the Flash movie? It's the Keaton bat suit with blood on it. Didn't look legit to me, honestly. I don't know where you got that from, Daniel, but that didn't look like a legit set photo. It was just a picture of a logo with some blood on it. But it is what it is. When the movie comes out, I'll tell you what I think. Thanks for catching me up. It does sound like typical Phantom Menace BS drama. It is. But the problem is, we need to, when someone says something that offends us, and it says nice shirt. You can't even see the whole thing. See, it says love thy neighbor at the top, which is appropriate for what we're talking about. But the rest of the shirt says, except Judas, that guy's a jerk. All right, so. Anyway, and Andre's here from Bosnia. Good to see you, my friend. And Alex says, dear Antitrade, what would you like to see in a Batman film? The return of Ben Affleck. So that's what I would like to see in a Batman film, but we're not going to. And which that just is what it is. Anyway, I don't know, man. I guess it's just really frustrating that we go for the jugular so quickly around here. And I hope that I never, get like that. I hope I never become vindictive like that, to where I would just point the finger at someone and say, okay, everybody, that person's bad because they didn't defend me well enough. Really? No. And Daniel, come on now. I've talked to you about comments like that. That if you wanna talk about Joel Schumacher's films, call him Joel Schumacher. I mean, while that does have a certain element of humor to it, you know what? Joel Schumacher is a human being. And so, and even he said that movie was crap. So, Uncle Remus says, what do you think about Indy 5 filming? I'm against it. Honestly, I think Indy 4 was so bad. I am not looking forward to Indiana Jones 5. I can't see how it's going to be good. Even if you had the world's greatest screenwriter, Harrison Ford is 180 years old. No. Indiana Jones is a young man's game. Recast him or retire him. Either one. And Super Blubber Post says Batfleck is too old and out of shape. You know what? I think Ben Affleck could still pull off a Batman movie or two. Is Kuroga considered a bad word in Turkestan? No. It's just the name of our enemy. And Thomas says, don't forget to remind people of the New Time movie night with Matthew McConaughey. That's true. Remember, so this week, movie night is being pushed back 1 hour. It will be at 10 p.m. Central as opposed to the usual 9. Mainly because I have something that I have to do, and so I asked Matthew if we could push it back. However, it will definitely be worth it. You're going to see Matthew really, really suffer this week. If you enjoy watching Matthew suffer, you won't want to miss this one. And let's see. And let's see. Professor Brady Specs, hey, Tricker, how dare you say that? How dare you, sir? What did I say? How dare I say what? You got to be more specific, Professor Brady Specs. That could mean anything I just said. Or maybe that Joel Schumacher is a human being? Is that what you're saying? Anyway, you're right with the Mecca random drama. She tried to drag Gary in, and this drama, Doomcock tried to drag him in. Everyone wants Gary. Well, that's because Gary's got the biggest channel. You know, I think Geeks and Gamers. I don't think Geeks and Gamers is bigger than. I'm trying. I'd have to look, but Gary's got a big channel, and so if you get him into it, it draws more attention to you. But quite frankly, at this point, I don't think there's a single subscriber of Gary that doesn't at least know who Doomcock is, and if they're going to subscribe to him, they're going to subscribe to him. I don't think. I think that Gary's grown beyond Doomcock's scope, mainly because Gary isn't hiding behind a mask and a caricature. And granted, I still disagree with Gary a lot of the times, but at least he's literally disagreeing with you as Gary, not as a cartoon character, you know. Oh, and thank you, Fed. Throws $10 in. And I got to change those.
Yes. Anti-Trucker will be forced to drink on that.
I have to change those audio alerts because I can't drink right now, which is really annoying.
Pay ye your money down. Been a while since I have tossed into the bowl. Quite agree that Fandom Menace has all the finesse and grace of overline-laden B-52 flown by bird after a night with his proverbial harem and really bad Korogan rum. Hope you're well.
Wow, that's a really powerful mental image that I did not need. That's Fed. That just burned into my brain now. Thank you. Yeah. What did you say? Overly laden B-52 flown by bird after a night with his proverbial harem and really bad Krogan rum. That seems like it could be a movie. Let's see. But yeah, as far as the Indiana Jones 5 thing, it's, yeah, that franchise is, there, you know, I'll agree. I think Nerdrotic posted, when I'm looking on Twitter today, I can't believe I was looking on Twitter today, but Nerdrotic posted there are only 3 Indiana Jones movies, you know. Set photos show a stuntman on a motorcycle wearing rubber Harrison Ford mask with dots all over it, and some FX guys saying it's base layer for CGI drag flashbacks. Yeah, whatever. Don't need it. Dread Pirate says, I appreciate you being rational and getting away from the hate. You help me break away from the Phantom Menace. Well, I appreciate that, Dread. And honestly, yeah, we've got to learn to let level heads prevail. If we don't, we will rip each other to shreds, which is what almost happened to Gary and Doomcock. And I don't want that to happen with Gary and Doomcock. Look, I know I disagree with them, but I don't want them to, you know, I don't wish any ill will on them. I want them to be successful, and I don't want them going for each other's throats because of some stupid misunderstanding. But we're so quick to throw the hate out that that's what happens. Let's see. Dear Ed Traeger, if you could change one thing about Batman Forever, what would it be and why? Wow, only change one thing about Batman Forever. Now, let me make sure I'm thinking about the right movie here. Not Batman and Robin, but Batman Forever is the one with, let me see. Oh, Batman Forever, yeah. That's the one with Val Kilmer as Batman, and then Tommy Lee Jones as Two-Face, and Jim Carrey as Riddler. That's a tough one. Honestly, because there's no one thing that's really broken about that movie. I tell you, the one thing I would keep, Val Kilmer. How's that? I'll give you that. I'll keep Val Kilmer. Everything else, throw it out and redo. Because I can't think of one thing that could make it better other than keep Val Kilmer. I thought Val Kilmer was a good successor to Michael Keaton, but unfortunately, everything else about that movie is horrible. Indiana Jones and the Lost ARP. Jan says, you know what pisses me off is one of the worst sins in my book. Back in 1994, when Tim Burton and Michael Keaton met with Joel Schumacher, and they tried to teach him how to do Batman. Well, it's not. First of all, I don't think that that was up to Tim Burton and Michael Keaton, because the tone of the Joel Schumacher Batman films was something Warner Brothers demanded. And I'll tell you exactly why. And this is something a lot of people don't think about. A lot of people there's a lot of anger at Batman 1989. Why? Because you have to stop and think. Most people that went to see that film were not Batman comic book fans. Most of the people that got to see that film only knew Batman as Adam freaking West and the Super Friends. They thought that was Batman. They weren't expecting this dark, dreary, serious toned film. And in fact, my mother-in-law, she was so excited about seeing it. She went with me and Mrs. Antitrekker on opening day to see that movie, and the only thing she liked about the movie was the fact that flames shot out of the Batmobile. That was the only thing she liked about it, because she hated the tone. She hated everything about it. I loved it, but I was a comic book fan. I was like, well, that's Batman. But she was like, no, but to her, sorry, that was nothing like Batman. So, no, there was, and so I don't know where you're getting this as far as Tim Burton and Michael Keaton met with Joel Schumacher. I don't know if that's true or not, but regardless of if they did, Warner Brothers wanted a lighter tone film, and that's why they brought in Joel Schumacher. And in fact, when Batman Forever, which by the way made a butt ton of money. So Batman Forever did well. So then when they made Batman and Robin, they said, take it to the next level. And they did. And Fed says, you're welcome. Well, thank you again. Orville Nation throws $5 in, says, truly inspired by all the drama. I think I will talk smack of bigger channels for ratings. Maybe I'll start making videos about Andy Checker. You go right ahead, Orville Nation, and I will respond to your rants in kind. And Thomas is encouraging to do it as well. In fact, Orville, yes, please do. Go ahead, attack me anytime, because I got nothing but love for you, PJ. Kevin says, I'm pretty sure Batman and Robin was largely studio move and less Joel. It goes to show you can't be complete tool and let the studio make all the choices, because they execs, not pros. Well, the funny thing is, studio executives a good studio executive can interject things into a project and make it better. We saw that with the original Star Trek. We've seen it over and over in many films that you don't even realize there was studio involvement and that forced things to change. In fact, if you look at Tim Burton's 1989 Batman, the studio held him back in that film, and the 1989 Batman was great. But in the follow-up in Batman Returns, Tim Burton, because the first one did much better than expected, they give Tim Burton a blank check for Batman Returns, said do whatever, and it was a garbage fest compared to the first one. He decided, let's turn Penguin into an abomination and just make this the most disgusting, dark, dreary mess I can make it. And guess what? It didn't do as well. And for good reason. Michael Keaton and Tim Burton tried to teach Joel Schumacher how to do the character in the world, and Schumacher responded, well, why does it have to be so dark? And that's when Keaton left. I don't know where you're getting that from, Daniel, because guess what? The studio demanded that it not be dark. That was an absolute studio demand. The big one I heard about in 89 Batman was Michael Keaton, Mr. Mom is back. Oh, yeah, I was right there with you, Z's. When I first heard Mr. Mom was going to be Batman, I was like, oh, heck no. I thought the movie was going to suck, and I was so pleasantly surprised when I saw it. And so, yeah, I loved it. Like I said, me and Mrs. Antrekker saw it with my mother-in-law. She wasn't my mother-in-law yet because we weren't married for another couple of years, but yeah, I loved it, and Mrs. Antrekker liked it, but my mother-in-law hated it. So, yeah. Jane says, I was expecting 89's dark tone, loved it, so I guess I was a comic book fan then. Well, and that's the thing, like, if you got exposed to Batman after 1986, then the tone of Batman 1989 wouldn't have been a surprise at all, because the tone we got was based a lot on Frank Miller's work with The Dark Knight Returns. And, it definitely shows. But the But before that, Batman was not that dark. If they're going to use Harrison Ford as Indiana Jones, perhaps have him in the role of a wise mentor to someone younger, say if he had a son or grandson. Well, they tried the son thing with Shia LaBeouf, and that didn't work out. So we'll see what they do. Ryan says McDonald's had toys out and got mad at Warner Brothers for Batman Returns not being for kids. Warner Brothers promised in the next one will be a Happy Meal friendly. Well, you know, I think Warner Brothers, honestly, I think they were correct that Batman Returns was too dark. But I think that trying to push it all the way back to the 60s Batman was a bit much. And Alex says, Dear Andrea, I'd love it if Burton Schumacher verse got revisited for animated films, or like Adam West, trimming scenes right to capitalize on the nostalgia. Well, that's what, like Daniel was talking about that earlier. There are rumors, and I don't know how much of it is confirmed, but there are rumors circulating around. Oh, and thank you, Kathleen Kennedy. Oh, no.
Kathleen_Kendi $1. It was consensual between Blvd and myself. My replacement for Harrison Ford would have been Justin Bieber. Get well soon, my big teddy bear Blvd. Heart.
Wow. Well, Bird, glad to hear that you and Kathleen Kennedy are... Whew. Anyway, but Alex, so there's been rumors circulating, and I don't know how much truth there is to it or not, because quite frankly, I don't follow rumors at all, but that Michael Keaton will reprise his role as Batman in the Flashpoint movie, assuming that actually happens. The problem is that, you know, in anything DC, take with a grain of salt right now. Yep, studio thought Batman Returns was too dark and sexual, Walken and Pfeiffer, so they wanted Schumacher to lighten it up. Yeah, and honestly, I agree with the studio on that. I just thought that Schumacher was a bad choice. And Richie says, hello, you suck, let's fight. No, I'm not going to argue with you on that. Daniel says, let's start the Untitled Show about nerdy stuff again so we can talk about that. You know, I'm thinking about that. I'll have to pick a different night for it, because Fridays I like doing the Jeopardy/movie night thing, but maybe we'll turn Thursday back into the Untitled Show night, at least until hopefully I can get back to work, because I do miss doing the Untitled Show, Daniel. I think we're going to have to do that. Indiana Jones and the Dirty Diaper of Doom. Oh. Alex says Penguin Maid returns. Oh, Penguin was disgusting, and that was not the Penguin. That's the problem. I mean, like Jack Nicholson, I loved his performance as Joker, but unfortunately, that's like from the Tim Burton / Joel Schumacher universe of Batman. That's the only character him and Batman himself to a certain extent. Yes, Batman, with all of his various guns and stuff, would not have been in the comics. But Joker was pretty good. No other character really lined up. Dread Pirate says, love Batman Returns, but it's a weird movie. I did not love it. I thought that I maybe because, and this is probably, I'm not a huge Batman fan as far as the comics, but I know enough about it to know what the Penguin is, and the Penguin is not a freak. Not like that. I mean, he does have kind of flippery hands, and he is short and fat and all that, but he didn't grow up in the sewers. And he is absolutely the mob boss of Gotham. He is he's very sophisticated. He carries around an umbrella and stuff because he's sophisticated, not as a joke. Anyway, I really don't like having a movie TV character typecast into one actor. Well, it depends on the character. Like, I think that like Iron Man being played by Robert Downey Jr., flawless. And Positive Candor sent you hopefully a friend request on Origin. Oh, awesome, Positive. By the way, and I am so sorry, Positive Candor. I know last night you started to say you were having some health issues yourself, and then you kind of got cut off there, and I tried to get back to it, but then you dropped off. And so I want to know, are you okay, buddy? And let me see if I can find... Do I have any friend requests? Friends... I don't see a friend request. Oh, wait. Friend requests. Okay, I think I see you there. Accept. All right, tell me, Positive Candor, if it should have just accepted. And for those of you that aren't, if you're on Origin, I'm Anti-Trekker23, all one word, no dash. Retire Andy, Alan Quartermain is right there, and he was first. I agreed. Michael Keaton went on record and said, I don't care. Doesn't matter. Michael Keaton and Tim Burton weren't producing that film. Warner Brothers was. Dread Pirate says, gotta run, but I'm glad I caught the stream. Good to see you, Dread Pirate. Love you, man. Hope you feel better. Get a clear bill of health. Man, me too, but we will see. Remember, the DC MCU Loki show comes out to... Oh, wow, is that tomorrow, Thomas? Holy crap, I did not catch that. Thank you. Man, I'm going to have to... I'm looking... I got something to look forward to now. Batman Forever has a scene of Batman coming in through the window into a woman's bedroom where she is sleeping naked. Lighter and for kids. Well, yeah, that's lighter for the kids, right? What do you think of the production starting on season 3 of Lower Decks, aka the only good modern Star Trek? Well, I haven't seen season 2 yet, Springtime, so I can't speak definitively, except that I'm looking forward to it more than I'm looking forward to more Discovery or Picard. But I'm still anxious to see what they do with Strange New Worlds. And Daniel says the executives at Warner Brothers talked Tim Burton out of making a third Batman movie. They don't have to talk. Daniel, I don't know where you're getting your information. Studio execs don't talk people out of doing something. They say, you're not doing this. It doesn't work that way. DeVito's Penguin is what happens when Pee-wee's allowed to have kids. Well, that is true, Jim. Tubian is in the house. Says, did somebody say quantum time travel? Yes, indeed. Which, by the way, I got to say, I do love the fact that Ant-Man and the Wasp, or Ant-Man 3 or whatever, is called Quantum Mania. That I love that title. That's like got to be the best movie title ever. Averdev says, Keaton smashing the decorations and the mantelpiece and screaming the Joker. You want to get nuts? Let's get nuts. One of the best scenes in any Batman movie. That was a good scene, but that was also not in the second one, which is the one that I have a problem with. I like the first one a lot. Pozikender says, I have partial paralysis and we'll find out more with an MRI tomorrow. Oh, man. Thoughts and prayers to you, Candor. Absolutely, please keep us informed. And if you have any way of messaging me, I don't know if you have me on Twitter or whatever. Let me know, because I'll be praying for you, buddy. And I know, man, MRI's no fun. I've had my share of them lately. So yeah, that sounds bad. So I truly, truly hope that whatever it is, it can be treated. And so, in all seriousness, Candor, please keep me in the loop. And Alex says, what would you have cast? Who would you have cast as Penguin instead of DeVito? Oh, I think DeVito was a great choice. DeVito was a fine choice to play the part. It was just a horrible script and visual style for him. Like, I think that, like, the flipper hands I was fine with. The nose prosthetic I was fine with. But why they had to have him constantly gushing out, like, black filth from his mouth and having him eating raw fish and just being this disgusting sewer monster? No. The character was wrong. And years later, Paul Rubens became a Bat-Knight in Brave and the Bold. Did he really? I never cared for Brave and the Bold, so I did not know that. Me and Mrs. Antrigger have been rewatching Batman the Animated Series, though. Daniel says, I was watching a documentary on YouTube, and Schumacher himself said that the studio approached him to make a fifth Batman movie, and would have the Scarecrow, and it would have been darker. Yeah, I think after what happened with Batman and Robin, that Schumacher knew that it was that he needed to divorce himself from it, and I think that was a smart choice. Jason Alexander is Penguin. Jason Alexander could definitely be Penguin. Ryan says, Daniel's telling the truth. You can look up the interviews with everyone involved. It's just one part of the story, though. Well, that's the thing. Yeah, it doesn't, and honestly, it doesn't matter. Because whatever Tim Burton and Michael Keaton may think of the Schumacher films, they're not Warner Brothers. And so they don't get to tell Schumacher how to make a movie. Warner Brothers does. And the only way that it would have made any difference is if Warner Brothers said, okay, Schumacher, you answer to Tim Burton and Michael Keaton. And obviously that didn't happen. And Thomas in all caps, stop having health problems. I know, no kidding. What's up with that? But I think that anyway. So with me, Bird, Positive Candor. Who else is having health problems these days? It's stupid. We all need to just move to Canada and get free health care. Let's see. It would have grammar people. Not sure of what that was about. I'm really tall, so I always feel like I'm a clown being squeezed into a tiny car whenever it's MRI. Oh, me too, man. I hate MRIs. Hate them with a passion. I understand they're necessary, but Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Kidney Stones. Yes, I think that would be, yeah. Hey, I'm trying, taking my meds properly and see my doctors regularly. Well, good shit. Please stay with us, buddy. Melissa Manchester was almost Poison Ivy in Batman the Animated Series. Well, voice actors, honestly, I think, like Kevin Conroy did a great job as Batman, but many of the big name actors that were in the animated series, it's like, oh yeah, I recognize that voice. But honestly, the only one that really made a huge mark to me was Mark Hamill. No pun intended there. Because Schumacher said no to the fifth Batman movie, Warner Brothers canceled it and rebooted it with Batman Begins. Well, I think that was a smart move. And Jim agreed that DeVito was fine. Characterization sucked. Yeah, a hummingbird. Yeah, that hummingbird has been crazy on that little hummingbird feeder. He's been loving it. So, and I know it's a he because I know you can't tell with the lighting the way it is right now, but it's got a beautiful green coat or whatever you call that, for plumage. Beautiful green plumage, and that's indicative of the males. The females are, like most birds, just brown. And now it says, Brave of the Bold was a fun, colorful love letter to the Silver Age. Yeah, I get what it is, but I didn't care for Silver Age Batman at all. And so I get that's what it was, and it looks like Silver Age Batman, but I personally didn't care for Silver Age stuff very much. In fact, even comic books that I love that are Silver Age comics, like early Fantastic Four and stuff, give me the Bronze Age stuff any day. That's when comic books were at their peak. People typing would have instead of would have, big bugbear. It would have literally makes no sense. Well, except that the problem is, Average Am, that you're English and, the people typing it are Americans, and Americans don't make those kind of mistakes. You English people got sticks up your butts. But Schumacher also wanted to do Year One. And Year One, I actually think could have been good. I think that, and in fact, if you look at Christopher Nolan's take on Batman, there are definitely some Year One elements there. And then, let's see. Ryan says, I'm surprised that more people aren't upset about the new rumor involving Kathleen Kennedy's treatment of birds. Yeah, you'd think more people would be upset about it, but apparently people are okay with that kind of thing, which is just kind of disturbing, to be honest with you. And Daniel says, if you can live in any DC universe, what would it be? The Tim Burton Batman verse, the Schumacher Batman verse, or Earth 66 Adam West Batman verse? Well, if I could live in any DC universe, why would I pick one of those three specifically? Because I would say none of the above, and I would probably pick, let's see, any DC universe. I'll probably pick the Teen Titans Go universe. Because nobody ever really gets hurt. There's a rumor that 1,000 cute puppies, aka the Love Puppy Army, is attacking Kuroga and are going to give Bird of Prey 5 the love he needs. His army and clones are no match for Love Puppies. You know, I do think that the Love Puppies would be successful. And Bird of Prey would end up licked to death. Alex says, you just have to be in the right frame of mind. Sometimes I don't want dark and serious. Sometimes I feel more like enjoying something goofy and cheesy. Well, I can see that, but I think that Schumacher's films, the problem is that it's kind of like when we got Star Trek Discovery. If you establish the tone for, like, I think that Batman 89 established the right tone for a Batman-centric universe. Then you completely shift gears into light and goofy, and all of a sudden you got people going, what? Huh? And then you bring in characters like Bane. I mean, a lot of people forget Bane was in Batman and Robin. And they turned Bane into a mindless monster for no reason whatsoever. I mean, he's going, Bane! That was the only thing he ever said. Thomas says, the neighbor told me she saw 7 chipmunks, which I named all Matthew, stealing my seeds. Hopefully the stuff you showed us gets here soon. I don't think the chipmunks will give you a problem with safflower, but yeah. Beautiful plumage. Plumage. It's pushing up daisies. I'm not sure why you said that. If we ever get Poison Ivy in the DCEU, I want her to resemble the original Betty Page-based Silver Age stuff. I honestly don't give a crap about Poison Ivy. You know. But yeah. Of meaning belonging to grammar. It would belonging to have been nice to go there. Yep, utter nonsense. Aberjam, you're not going to win this one. I understand would have makes more sense than would of. I absolutely understand that. You also have to understand that doesn't mean that anybody's going to stop saying would have. Schumacher's film was designed to sell toys, and I had a few of them back then. Maybe so, but maybe it was just because, my age group compared to yours, I found the Schumacher films insulting. Bane's never been a favorite of mine, boring character with a dumb weakness. Well, Bane was never a character favorite of mine, but he's not a dumb monster. I mean, that's the thing. Bane was actually a very, Bane as portrayed in The Dark Knight Rises, I think was a much closer to the comic books as far as his intellect. But, he's not just a mindless monster. He's just a guy on super steroids, basically, but he's very intelligent. And that's the problem, is that we want to. Yeah, Captain Trex says, I still say would have. Good for you, but you're like the only person I know, because I say would have all the time. Plumage Daisies was a reference to Monty Python's Dead Parrot. Oh, yes, the dead parrot. This parrot has passed on. This is an ex-parrot. And that's just a little reminder that Joshua needs to walk Auntie in a minute. So, let's see. What was your reaction, and what did you thought when you first saw Batman and Robin? I think very similar to my reaction to Star Trek Discovery. I mean, honestly, I just found it insulting. And James says, I played Arkham Knight, but I agree with you. I don't really care about Poison. Yeah, Poison Ivy is just not very compelling to me. She's an eco-terrorist. I mean, okay. But, hey, You want to do some plant-based gothic horror stuff? Let's have some serious Swamp Thing action. Like if you never read, I think it's Neil Adams, but Darren Wagner, if you're out there, correct me. I'm sure I'm wrong. But the very, very serious take on Swamp Thing that was done in, was it like late 70s, early 80s? And when there is an issue of Swamp Thing where Swamp Thing attacked Gotham City and just devastated by Batman. Couldn't do a thing about it. And I loved it. Batman was completely outclassed. Really, what about Poison Ivy and Batman the Animated Series? Yeah, non-issue to me. I don't really care about her. She's in a few episodes so far, not nearly as many as Penguin or Joker, and I'm perfectly okay with that. Poison Ivy versus Captain Planet. Now we're talking. Good to see LD, by the way. And by the way, LD, you need to change your name so that I don't keep getting it confused with LG Geeks. You need to change your name, buddy. I don't like having LDG followed by Geeks. My dyslexia doesn't work well when you and or NB Geeks. See, now I'm getting confused again. And it throws me off. You got to do something about this, LD. Robo Q Man says Antracker versus the nasal cavity creeps. I'd watch that. I had to go to the doctor today for speaking of nasal cavity, and I had the surgeon pick my nose for a second time, and it was painful. Whew, man. Daniel says, I remember back in 1997 when I got my first Batman movie. It was Batman and Robin. I loved it. I was 10 at the time, so also I remember going to stores and seeing wall-to-wall toys. Well, you see, that's the difference. You were 10. You literally just said, well, I still say would've. That's the correct term, abbreviated from would have. Okay, fair enough. Average Ab, fair enough. I saw the 1982 Swamp Thing, Adrian Barbeau. I never saw that. I've seen pictures from it, but I've never seen the old Swamp Thing stuff. But the comic books back then were serious. But hey, and here's the thing: if you like, and I know Alex is trying to defend Poison Ivy, I just don't find her compelling. If you like her, that's awesome. Let's see, and a messed up Mexican Iron Man too. That was funny. Well, you may think it's funny, but you need to change your name because you keep changing your name. Stop it. Stop changing your name. Jeez. Pick a name and go with it. What happened to Nerdrotica? I mean, that was dumb, but what happened to that one? All right, I am going to wrap it up there, guys, because I'm slowly tapping out of energy. But I wanted to get off my chest the whole thing about the stupid Phantom Menace garbage, and I just wanted to say hi to you guys. Thank you for those of you that were able to pitch in a couple of bucks. Not joking when I say it's going to go to the doctors, but every little bit helps. So with that, take care of yourselves and have a wonderful rest of your day. And positive candor, keeping you in my prayers. Please keep us informed, buddy. I want to know what's going on. So live long and prosper and